On their way to EU membership, Western Balkans countries are transforming their economy, their institutions, their legal framework, and infrastructure. The Balkans' youth are significantly affected both as actors and as main beneficiaries of those changes. Yet many policymakers view them primarily as recipients of aid initiatives, rather than recognizing their capacity and agency as political actors. To avoid the youth's future being decided without them, better communication and targeted capacity building should be designed and implemented. Only informed and empowered youth can actively engage and influence the formulation of development policies.
As one of the 4 EU macro-regional strategies, the EU strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region promotes economic and social prosperity in the Adriatic and Ionian area. Interconnectedly, INTERREG IPA programs provide excellent support and development opportunities starting from local communities to national institutions.
2023 is the European Year of Skills. INTERREG programs and EUSAIR are in fact well placed to support human capital development, and by doing so address brain drain, youth migration, and building well-run institutions in the Adriatic Ionian region. Under this frame, CDI and DG Regio joined forces to increase the participation of 6 Western Balkan youths in the governance and decision-making processes of the EUSAIR and INTERREG IPA programs as 2 well-placed instruments that can make a difference for many young people in the region.
There is a long way to go in bringing our desired change and desired impact, and there are 2 main challenges that we need to address. The first one is creating open and safe spaces for young people of all backgrounds to engage and connect with one another, and the second one is creating tailor-made programs and approaches that are relevant to youth needs.
We are really glad that we had the opportunity to work with project. We could manage to make a lot of great workshops and maybe find another ways to communicate with our young people because we gave them a lot of new opportunities that they can use. We're talking here about Youth Manifesto, about INTERREG and EUSAIR IPA programs, and about all other programs that really can improve their education and their way of seeing maybe their perspective in this country.
In line with the spirit of the Youth Manifesto developed by young people in 2020, our tour in the EUSAIR region aimed at communicating opportunities coming from INTERREG IPA and EUSAIR, voicing up youth needs to INTERREG IPA structures, national and local institutions, and EUSAIR, and identifying innovative entry points for engaging youth in European Territorial Cooperation.
So why CDI's job is important? It's simply important because it simply spreads the message that the young people need to be introduced into the process, need to understand the process, and need to participate in the decision-making process, because without them, the process of European integration of the whole region of the Western Balkans is simply impossible.
Our work during most of 2023 has been to anchor the Youth Manifesto in the Western Balkan policy-making ecosystem and bring in the Balkans youth. In cooperation with all governments in the Western Balkans, CDI triggered and contributed to an innovative, timely intense, multi-stakeholder approach, face-to-face discussion aiming at harnessing the potential of the European Territorial Cooperation instruments in the Western Balkans. When it comes to youth, and not only, the region faces huge disparities compared to its EU neighbors in terms of adapted infrastructure, support schemes, information and accountability, and meaningful consultation mechanisms. Raising awareness on the Youth Manifesto in the Western Balkans allowed young people from cross-border areas to hear about the opportunities provided by INTERREG IPA they could be engaged in, be it through their school, university, local youth organizations, and as individuals. Our journey throughout the region was based on close cooperation with national program authorities, national institutions, and connecting youth network of youth umbrella organizations. In a period of 10 months, we organized 22 physical events in Western Balkans 6 and San Marino, with more than 640 participants coming from universities, schools, local and central governments, project beneficiaries, 21 INTERREG IPA and IPA programs, and of course, youth. All under the objective of increasing awareness and encourage Western Balkans to engage and maximize the benefits for youth from INTERREG IPA and EUSAIR.
Croatia, as you all know, is overtaking the presidency, and we have youth high on the agenda in our program, and there are some concrete actions taken. We are very active in participating in establishment of Youth Council. We do hope Youth Council will be established in a year's time at the end of our presidency.
We need the youth in defining policies, in defining our programs, giving us, let's say, advice and guidance in terms of what they want and what they need, in which directions cooperation with them should go. It's a challenging task, in particular maybe for the countries who are newer to EUSAIR and to the INTERREG programs, but I think that with common work and mutual understanding, this can be achieved quite easily.
"20 years from Thessaloniki summit, the Western Balkan youth is not waiting for their countries to join the EU. They are emigrating to EU. Our goal is to build Europe at home so that our youngsters stay, study, work here, or that they come back eventually. To that end, we have collected many concrete youth-led proposals on how European Territorial Cooperation can speed up the pace and impact of enlargement process. Despite the many challenges, the EUSAIR and INTERREG IPA programs in the Western Balkans play a vital role in promoting regional integration, fostering cooperation and good neighborly relations, and supporting the European integration process of Western Balkans 6. Youth are a key stakeholder, both as beneficiary and as an actor, to EU-supported programs, even if their current engagement needs upscaling. The initiative raising awareness on the Youth Manifesto in the Western Balkans has contributed to reshape the perception of the youth's participation in the INTERREG stakeholders ecosystem, with the goal to increase and solidify a systemic youth engagement in EUSAIR and INTERREG IPA programs. The initial framework for such an endeavor should encompass actions that vary from support to dedicated projects focused on youth mobility and cross-border cooperation, by using youth-friendly language in INTERREG, by simplifying application processes, by making mandatory youth consultation in INTERREG programming phase, by establishing regular communication channels between institutions and young people, and finally, by establishing a youth council-based or alternative youth oversight and advisory mechanisms in the EUSAIR strategy.
Youth Manifesto in the Western Balkans, a framework for youth engagement that contributes to well-governed European territorial cooperation policies and processes.